We have big news. We've got a new player pack coming to D&D Beyond. Can you tell me about what this player pack is and what's inside?
Yeah, absolutely. Valda Spire of Secrets Player Pack has a kind of shotgun approach of really, really fun player options that will fit in any campaign setting. Six subclasses, two really cool new species, and a handful of magic items and feats.
Can you give me a rundown of all the subclasses that we're going to be finding in this? Because I mean,
Yes.
players love player options, and this is chock full of them. So,
Yeah, these are like some of the best ones I've ever written. The Path of the Muscle Wizard is a barbarian that went to Wizard University on like a football scholarship. He's he can get angry if anyone questions his unarguable wizardry, and he casts spells, which are just different ways of hitting people, basically. But he calls them spells, and it's very important that you follow that. Warrior of the Street is a monk subclass that is inspired by Street Fighter. So you get to do combos and like knock people into the air, and it has all of that like sort of like fighting game kind of mechanics built into the monk class. The Oath of Revelry is the broest paladin you will ever see. They can magically conjure drinks, and they get kind of everybody in on their like they're very much like a team captain kind of character. The Future You patron is a warlock patron where your patron is you from the future, and they've reached back in time to contact you and give you guidance through kind of like events. So you don't know like 100% like what they have planned for you. They have gaps in their memory, but can give you advice on certain things. And you have to kind of like, figure out what your future you needs from you. So you get a bunch of chronomancy spells. We have a bunch of chronomancy spells in this pack. We have a bunch of really fun, unique spells, but the chronomancy spells are really, really fun, really, really easy. The remaining two subclasses, we've got the arachnoid stalker. You can crawl on walls, you can shoot webs. It is yeah, it's super, super cool. You can do poison strikes, which builds on the new rogue kind of maneuver subsystem. And the last subclass is the Dungeoneer, which is a fighter subclass, which is just all about like going into dungeons and kicking monsters. It's very Munchkin in that way. They get a
mhm.
feature called Kick in the Door, and it's a blast. It's super, super fun.
And this all works with the 2024 core rule books.
Yeah, yeah. So exclusively on D&D Beyond, we've revised these for 2024, and we didn't do like little small tweaks. Like when I designed stuff for Dungeons and Dragons, I want it to feel like it came straight out of the player's handbook, and every single one of these options is kind of designed with that in mind. So there's a bunch of fun ways we could weave in the new approach to the rules, in 2024, which I was really, really excited to get into.
Tell me about the two new species we have here. These are interesting.
These are incredible. So the Gepetin are a species of living toys. The key art for it is a little plushy teddy bear wielding a obviously cursed sword and having a great time of it. You get to choose what type of toy you are. The three types are marionettes, which are wooden and can be medium or small. So you can be a full on like mannequin and still be a Gepetin. The plushies are your kind of like stuffed plush toys if you're a teddy bear or a stuffed dragon or something like that. And then the final one is bisque, which are porcelain dolls. And they each get like slightly different features based on that. So the other one is the mandrake. You get to play a tree person, and you get some basic druidic magic. You can cast Shillelagh on your arm, which is made of wood, and hit people with it like a club. You get a handful of other like druid spells, and you can kind of summon up vines from the ground to grab people, and you get bonus effects based on kind of what season you were harvested in. A winter mandrake is different from a spring mandrake,
Oh,
and that allows
interesting.
you to kind of like dial in a little bit more what your character's whole aesthetic is.
And then we've got a host of new magical items and feats as well, correct?
Yeah. So I'll talk about a couple of my favorites if that's okay. The Frog Prince statuette. I'm actively playing with in my game. It's so fun. It's a little clay frog, and you kiss it, and it turns into a guy. And that guy is dressed in fancy garb, and you can take him to a ball, like in Cinderella, or you can like send him off to do other commoner stuff. So it's kind of an at will Smooch the Frog. Now he's a commoner. It's a really, really good time. One of my favorite magic items I've ever written is in this pack, which is called a Memento Mori. And it's a letter with like a seal on it. And it's an old letter. And whoever opens it up, the letter was always for them. And when you pull it out, it describes exactly how you're going to die.
Ugh.
And then it's just a non-magical letter. You have advantage on saves against dying before then, but when that time comes, narratively, I think you fail all of your death saving throws instantly. So it is, yeah, it's a really brutal magic item, and it's a great storytelling tool. I really like having, magic items and subclass options that like make the DM a little more complicit in the storytelling, like, that the player is kind of starting to train on. There's a couple more in there as well. Like, there's a ring of barrels that summons barrels, and you can put barrels on top of people and float barrels down rivers. And, you never know when you just need to magically summon a barrel on somebody.
I have to ask about the portable cannonballs.
Oh, yeah. There's a magic item called portable cannonballs. It's basically a bag of ball bearings that, are also like, you can treat them as like musket shot or like a sling bullet. And if you speak a command word, that thing goes from like, an inch wide to boom, a full size cannonball. So if you're firing it out of a sling, it'll just like turn into a cannonball mid flight and just like barrel into somebody.
And there's a throne as well.
Oh, yeah. Lenora's Throne of Indolence is a phenomenal magic item. The entire magic item is a throne. You sit in it and it flies. And it can also summon a feast. And it can also summon a magical trumpeter to signal your arrival. It's it's so good. When we came up with that idea, I literally checked the DMG twice. Like, how did they not include an entire throne as a magic item? It feels like the sort of decadence that you want at your table when you're digging through a pile of dragon's treasure, right? Of course, there would be a magical throne that is all about being as lazy as possible.
There's a number of feats. What are some of your favorite feats that are in this?
Oh, yeah. So there's only 4 feats, but they're all really, really good. Brutal Grip allows you to hold like 2 big weapons at once. Field Commander is great. It really makes the table come alive because you can use your whole action to command somebody else to do a thing. Focused Critical is really straightforward. You get an expanded critical range, so you can hit it a 19 or 20. Iron Hero is cool. You get a handful of really good benefits, but one of them is that when a monster takes a legendary action, you can just tell them no. And you can do that like prof per day, so starting at twice per day. And at higher levels, like obviously that scales. So that helps you kind of turn the tide in a fight against like, an ancient red dragon or something, which I really, really enjoy. There's a bunch of spells in here, but let me like highlight 2 or 3 of my favorites. Okay. Finger Guns, it's a cantrip. You go like this, and you go pew, and it deals force damage. Perfect. It's great. Dire Warning, is one of my favorite Chronomancy spells. We have a handful of Chronomancy spells in here. Dire Warning, you get a message from yourself in the future of like 6 words or fewer, and then you can't cast it again until you know why you sent it and do a ritual to send the message back. So it's a way for the DM to kind of create these little closed loops of storytelling that the player initiates, which is, of course, exceptionally good if you're playing a warlock that, of the future you, so that you can like have this closer communication with yourself in the near future. Clue allows you to create Scooby-Doo style footprints and fingerprints all over everything. That's all multicolored and you can follow where everybody's been. Defenestration throws somebody through a window. If there isn't a window nearby, it summons a window of magical force and throws them through that. Game of Fate allows you to create a magical game where there's psychic damage on the line, and your life, you kind of play a game against death for your own soul or whatever. You can stake anything you want on it. There's a bunch of other really, really fun stuff in there. We have a ton of spells in this one, and a lot of them are Chronomancy in case you wanted to add that kind of flavor to your game.